Hey there, AfterBuzzers. You're watching the AfterBuzz TV after show for Secrets and Lies, Season 2, Episode 5, The Daughter. Stay tuned as we discuss this week's episode and give you our thoughts and predictions.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Ooh yeah, bringing it in.
Coming in hot.
Halloween edition, you guys. Excuse the costumes and the makeup.
Very scary costumes.
It's Halloween tonight, and we are super excited to be here in the studio talking about Secrets and Lies, The Daughter. We've got a little MJ thriller playing in the background there. And before we dive into this episode, you guys want to make sure you're subscribed to us here on YouTube, youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. You can also catch all of our weekly after shows on iTunes, where you should leave us a review in iTunes and comments on YouTube, all that stuff. And if you're in the live chat, talk to us. We've got the chat up. We want to hear what you guys thought of the episode. I am your host, Lauren Salaun. You can find me everywhere online, especially Instagram and Snapchat, at Lauren Salaun. I'm joined by these lovely ladies to my left. Gals, how we doing?
We're good. It's Halloween.
Yes!
I'm so excited. I am Whitney, and you can find me everywhere at Wit, Get It Wit. That's for Twitter. And if you want me on Instagram, it's just Get It Wit.
Hey y'all, you can find me everywhere at April Whisenhant, but tonight I will be known as Kimberly, the best pink Power Ranger, obviously.
Favorite.
Me too. When I was little, I was so obsessed with her.
Yeah.
This outfit is a little different than hers was.
Right.
I don't think she had a onesie.
It's a little roomier, and
I like to be cozy.
you can store things in it.
Yes.
You can.
It
Perhaps.
doesn't have pockets.
Oh, but it's got
you can,
feet,
like,
right? You
Yes.
just let it all drop to the bottom.
Does
there.
it have feet?
No, mine doesn't have
Oh,
feet.
dang it, never mind. No
But it has a
solutions.
hood.
It's not very useful at all. Just sleep in it.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So let's go ahead and get started here real quick. So last week left us with Cornell opening the door to Eric's apartment with Danny opening it to her, and then
Detective.
Detective. I was a little disappointed that we didn't start off at that place.
yeah.
You know, because that was a little bit of a shocker that he was a detective as well. There was no Cornell conversation between the three of them.
No,
Yeah.
I wanted to know what happened once they were all in the room together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wanted some
I agree.
dialogue.
And we just didn't go to them at a hotel or something like that.
Yeah,
Or they're
no,
outside of a room somewhere, but it's just Eric and the detective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Eric
Which,
and
like,
Danny
that's dumb.
talking, and we learned that Danny is obviously a detective. He's an NYPD cop, and his daughter really is missing, and that's why he's out in North Carolina trying to find her. And he and Cornell know each other, and I just thought there would be some drama there, aside from just him, his cover kind of being blown as far as Eric's concerned.
Well, I thought, I'm like, so now I guess his cover didn't have to be blown. Like, I'm like, was that a mistake? Was it not? Because he still had moves that he needed to make in order to find his daughter. Like, he just had the conversation with Neil, obviously, as he's holding him down. But maybe Cornell knew that, like, it was getting intense because, I mean, we learn later, much later in the episode, there's a warrant out for his arrest.
Yes.
But he's technically a CI. He's a criminal informant.
Right.
Even though he is a detective, but he's, like, not, because he should be arrested right now.
And there's a warrant out for his arrest because he bailed on a big narcotics case, in which we learned that from Amanda. And so he bailed on this case, and so he's kind of on the lam, if you will. But aside from that, it seems like he's pretty well respected and has a decent
Yeah, I mean, I
record.
think by Cornell, they have, like, it seems like she respects him. She wants to keep him safe. You know, now her sergeant is, like, asking for his head, basically, to turn him in and all that. And you can tell that there's some sort of loyalty with her. You know, she does really want to help him find his daughter.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like before all of before this warrant went out for his arrest, that he was a good stand-up guy. I don't know if they said if his daughter missing had anything to do with him bailing on that case. I don't think it did, but obviously there's probably more backstory to that. Like a guy who has nothing on his record and who is, the perfect example of a detective doesn't just bail on a case.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point, because I thought he just, like, pieced out because that started happening and he needed to just not. But he
Yeah.
walked out mid-trial.
Right.
Right? So that's different than being like, oh, my daughter, she's missing, and leaving the case.
And I kind of thought that it made sense, though, that he bailed mid-trial because of his daughter. Like, obviously something happened, but nothing was said, so we don't actually know if
And you wouldn't
the
be
case.
arrested if that happened, though. Like, if your daughter was missing and you had to, I mean, maybe you would. I guess I don't know the intricacies of the law there, but it seems like a judge would be pretty lenient if you're like, oh, my daughter's missing. I have to go look for
Right,
her.
yeah,
It depends how you handled the situation. If you actually, what was that?
It was my foot. I'm sorry.
If you actually like went through procedure and like, you know, told them what was going on and what you had to do.
I don't.
but
I don't think that's what happened. I think that's
No.
a separate, like you were saying,
Yeah.
April, a totally
There has to be
separate
something.
thing. And so, you know, another layer that we can kind of unravel with that character.
Yeah.
Which would be
I'm
very
starting
interesting.
to love him so much.
like
I
him
love
too.
his character.
I like him a lot too.
Yeah.
The scene with his daughter, though, y'all, I was like, oh, you didn't just say that. It was
know.
really
Yeah, and he
sad.
calls
It
her
was-
a slut.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Sleeping your way through the whole senior class or whatever he
And then
said.
yeah, that was not good.
Yeah. So, and with that about the daughter, I mean, we learned that maybe she's being a little promiscuous or something. Her dad's not approving of
Right.
the gentleman choices that she's making. But we learned that his old partner, Mitch, had been sexually abusing her
Since she was little.
really young, which,
Yeah.
you know.
13 and she was 18 when she left.
Right, exactly. And that Mitch ended up committing suicide. So we've got this whole nother situation
Yeah.
going on with the daughter.
Which makes it extra bad because in that scene where he does say, where he finds the guy in the closet, he says, we're supposed to go to dinner. It's Uncle Mitch.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I don't want to go. And then
Yeah, that
later
was
it's when
really
he finds out that it happens. Obviously, he didn't know that at the time.
No.
But I don't know. It's just scary. So many things that can happen without people knowing about it.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And Misha in the chat is reminding us about Cornell's daughter had some issues of her own that led her to jail, so it wouldn't surprise me if she feels for Danny's situation outside of this case. Oh,
That's
yeah,
a good
for
point.
sure.
Yeah.
They both have these dramatic daughter issues that they're figuring out, you
Yeah.
know? And yeah, I totally think she empathizes with him more
yeah.
because of that.
Well, think about when her boss was coming down on her later and he said something like, we all know you put the job before your family or before
That
your
was-
personal life.
That
Yeah.
was, yeah.
And because that's part of what it is. She's the reason why her daughter went to juvie. Like, she kind of turned her in. Cornell did. So
Right.
when he said that, I'm like, ooh.
That was like a knife to the heart, but so true.
And she's
Yeah.
like, do not, she snapped at him, like, do not bring my family into this. It
Yeah.
was- I liked seeing that from
Yeah.
her,
Me too.
especially. We saw a lot of scenes with her, and we're seeing her boss more and more, because he's like, trying to make sure we do this by the book and get our guy, because last time she put the wrong guy away and all this stuff. And we learn a lot of things through these conversations, that she's been working alone since her last partner died. So
Says
that's
a-
something we're gonna learn
Yeah.
about, most likely.
Did we not already know that?
I don't remember that.
Okay, then
I don't
we probably
think
didn't.
so.
Okay.
I think that says a lot about her personality too. Like
Yeah.
she wants to ride solo. She wants to handle everything herself. She can't give up control.
Yeah. And she blames it on her partner dying, which obviously I'm sure, of course, has a lot to do with it. But I feel like she's just that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And now she's like adamant about doing it her way and all this stuff. And because she's so good at what she does, I think her boss is kind of letting her
Yeah.
roll with it. But I have a feeling that she's gonna run into a few mistakes and hiccups that is gonna maybe make somebody have to come along and help her. I
Yeah.
don't know if
Yeah.
we'll see that, but
Well, like the Danny thing is technically a big hiccup for her because no one knew that he was helping her. And it's like, he wasn't, but he was, because he was just getting information for her, but he was doing it for himself. It was, it's a mutually beneficial relationship that they had. Like, oh, I'm investigating this person who has to do with my missing daughter or might have to do with my missing daughter, but I can get this for you at the same time. Like, it was totally off the books. So I feel like everyone finding out that he was helping her is going to be a big mix up, especially if she has to arrest him, which is
Right.
what her boss was telling her she had to
right,
do.
exactly. So that
Because he is not going to go easily.
Oh no.
No,
he's
no, no.
not.
We've already seen he is like no stopping this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously. don't come between a man and his kid, you know, all that.
His possible runaway kid.
Yeah, runaway kid who is very likely an escort.
Yes,
you know.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
So I know when it was like his comment about all the guys and stuff, not that like if you date a lot of guys or sleep with a lot of guys, like, oh duh, you're gonna become an escort.
Oh,
but
no,
you know,
of
they're
course not.
totally trying to like make that suggest that was the case, and she
definitely.
like wouldn't have a problem
But
with it.
at least she's not like the innocent friend that was getting dragged down by Carly, you know, because Carly legitimately was or is a part of this, well, not anymore, now she's arrested, but a part of the escort service. So it's like, you know, at least...
Oh, she is still an escort. She got arrested and released with a quickness.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
True. Well, you know.
Before we get into some of our other juicy topics, we want to share with you guys a little bit about a company called Primary, which has some awesome clothes for kiddos. And none of us up here have kids, but I'm sure some of you guys listening in have
nieces and nephews.
kids, or nieces and nephews, you know, friends, kids, all that stuff. So Primary was started by two moms who wanted a place for kids' clothes without all the logos, slogans, sequins, that sort of thing. They offer stylish basics for babies and kids in awesome colors and really soft fabrics, all under $25.
Wow.
That's awesome. Because if you
Great.
think about it, like baby clothes, I'm sorry, it's like that big.
Right,
Yeah,
it's a
and they
miniature
shouldn't
person.
cost
And they
like
grow
normal
out
person
of them
clothes.
so fast.
Exactly.
Yes.
Primary was inspired by simplicity. They offer one essential version of everything that a kid wears, from a footie to a t-shirt, cardigans to polos, and they make it easy to size up as your kid grows. Their vibrant colors mix and match really beautifully and work with whatever else is in your kiddo's closet. Every parent feels the challenge of having an overwhelming closet full of clothes, yet nothing seems to match. Primary is the new go-to for super soft baby clothes in vibrant, solid colors without slogans like Little Slugger or Mama's Little Genius.
I love that.
And you guys can visit primary.com/BUZZNJ and use the code BUZZNJ to save 25% off your first purchase and get free shipping. And again, that promo code is BUZZNJ to save 25% off your first purchase. And
Sweet.
it's thanks to folks like Primary who help us, you know, be able to do all these shows. Like we have more than 200 shows, you guys, and able to make us, you know, help us keep the lights on and everything running for you.
Exactly.
So thank you, Primary, and go ahead and check them out. All right, and back to our regularly scheduled programming. So let's talk a little bit about the escort lady situation. So Neil is being questioned by Cornell early in the episode about Carly. And again, the boss is like, just don't let him, like, you know, invoke his rights to a lawyer, because then we lose him because we don't actually have him on any charges.
Right.
And of course it gets to that point real quick. And she presses him on not calling the service directly. And so that is suggesting, which happens later as well, that Neil knows Carly a whole lot better than we think.
Right,
You know? And
because he has her personal
he has
cell
her
phone
personal number. And even though it was a burner, you know, that, you know, being able to call her that directly, and the fact that he brought her to a company party, and this is something Danny points out later, you know, he brought her to a company party, so he had to know that she wouldn't like embarrass him or do anything inappropriate. So that is something we are definitely going to investigate more. And Danny was like telling Eric straight out, like, look into this, because you're going to
It's a
find
big
something
thing,
for sure. And then at the office, actually, with, well, I guess I'm talking about Neil, I was talking about the ladies, but at the office, Neil and Patrick are having a pretty heated discussion about something. What did you guys think about that?
They're obviously they're leading us to the way of Neil and Patrick being involved in something together.
Yeah.
Or more so, what it gave me the vibe of is that, like, probably Patrick was into something, seemed like Neil was maybe helping him cover it up, or maybe Neil caught him, or I don't know, it was just the way that they looked at each other whenever Neil was like, this bank, what are you talking about, bank statement?
Right.
And Patrick's like,
I
like
feel like
he knew in the back.
Patrick knew about that more, and Neil, I believed in that scene, I believed that Neil was like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, and that Patrick maybe framed Neil for that. I still trust that Patrick is like this puppy dog guy and didn't do anything. No,
I don't think so.
I think he is so suspect, especially this episode.
Yeah.
Walking in when Patrick and Neil were having the conversation, I feel like they are in cahoots, and I don't know at what level yet, but they know something that they're trying to keep from Eric.
Right.
And it definitely might not directly have to do with Kate's death, her plunging to the ground, but it is something that at least led to her death.
Yeah.
And then
you think Neil and Patrick?
I think that something that they're doing together, and Kate might have found out, or Kate was a part of it, or something.
There's a lot of things getting thrown out in the chat. So
we love these.
Misha says that maybe Neil and Mandy hooked up, Amanda.
Oh.
And then Zumiko, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, says they think Kate slept with Amanda's husband and think that Amanda had something to do with the murder with her body language when she was talking to Cornell.
There was so many body language in this episode was all
mainly
over the place.
Patrick too.
When Patrick and Eric are in the car going to Boone's, where were they going?
Boone.
Oh, Boone. I was gonna say Boone's town. Boone. All those questions that he kept throwing at Eric. All of
About
those
the
questions
detective.
about Danny. And he wouldn't stop. And even Eric was like, dude, why are you asking me so many questions? Why are you obsessed with this guy? And it's probably because he knows Danny's super smart and Danny's on to whatever he's got going on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because if Neil and Patrick are somehow wrapped up in some escort mess and Rachel, Danny's daughter, was a part of that mess, then Patrick would definitely have some concern over why
That's what
Danny's here.
That's where my mind is right now. That they're in some sort of like sex ring together or something, because
This is not the first time we've brought up sex ring.
right. And I think about
Okay.
So not
way
the
excited.
couples doing like freaky stuff. It automatically means
Like-
that, because like freaky stuff is good sometimes, y'all. But but think about Patrick and his wife. That one scene where she's like clearly they're about to do something, and then literally the next day, or seemingly the next day, is when we see Patrick outside of that house or whatever it is, like staring at a man or staring at people. Was it a call? Where was he? He was like at a country club, something like that.
Yeah, he was like at a golf course or a country
But
club.
a lot of times that's, the people that you don't think are involved that are. Like, maybe something happened to this person. Maybe Danny's daughter was involved in that somehow. But I pulled out my phone because I wanted to read this comment that we got on the video from last week, and it's from Patrice Hodge. And she says,
Patrice.
do not trust Patrick. He is guilty of something. He has this underlying jealousy of his brother. He definitely has that, but he is not. I think he's proven this episode he's not trustworthy. Just with like the side glances that he was giving everybody. Like I started to notice at that moment that they walked into the office, and when Neil was, it was like they were hush hush about something before, but Neil was genuinely like, "What are you talking about?" And Patrick's like, in the background.
I guess that's probably true.
Yeah.
And the chat again is going for it. So Misha thinks that Kate had an affair with someone but not Amanda's husband, and says that Patrick knows something. And to me, Eric's whole demeanor about the dynamic of the family and his mom, she feels like that Eric did something to his mom. Maybe pushed her down the stairs.
Oh, yeah, because they really did get into it when they were in the car about the past.
But didn't
But
the
that's
mom
because
just...
Patrick was so young, you know?
and
But didn't the mom, she
fell down
Oh,
the stairs.
right.
Drunk.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that could definitely be a possibility, because Eric's sitting there and telling Patrick, you don't remember. You were young. You think mom's innocent. Like, it was horrible. You were scared of mom.
I think their mom probably was physically abused them in some way, like hit them or something when she would get drunk.
Could
Who
have
knows?
definitely done that.
Oh, yikes. I don't know with that one, but yeah, I guess Patrick is a little more suspicious.
Oh, so
I think
much.
Patrick at this point is more suspicious than Neil.
I agree.
As far as
agree.
as far as doing something to Kate, especially, I don't necessarily think that he killed her, but I think I definitely don't think that Neil did anymore. It's almost like I could see Patrick getting in like this whirlwind of, holy crap, Kate caught us with this. Maybe Neil was covering it up and helping me or maybe Neil found out and was covering something up for him somehow. But yeah, I could see him like just going crazy and being like, crap.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he handles stress very well.
He seems like he just
We
freaks
know that
out.
because he likes to drink. Like when the guys are getting ready to go to Boone, you know, he's taking out his flask right there, and Melanie's like, "No, baby, like you gotta be like fully focused and present for this. Like keep your brother alert and on this drive, all that stuff."
And how nasty was Amanda and Melanie in that
Right?
scene?
She was
I wanted to
it was
slap
awful.
her.
She was so rude.
I was like, wow, you are such a beast.
Even if, I mean, I don't know exactly, we don't know the extent of what Melanie has maybe put that family through, because she is kind of like a spoiled little brat.
She could have started the sex ring.
See,
That's what you were saying. Someone was saying that in the very beginning.
Yeah, I just had this. I have this feeling. Like, I know it's way too early to even predict or to get into it in this sit down right now, but I think that Eric, Patrick, and Melanie had some sort of like business going on the side. They needed the money. They I don't know, maybe they asked Kate, or they did the ransom note, and Kate found out it was them and then was going to expose them and all this stuff, and I don't know. There's some sort of sex ring going on.
But like, they have money, so why would they need money?
True.
Right.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that
I don't know that, but
way to kill my theory.
it didn't mean to. Don't kill my
So yeah, we do, so the trip to Boone, let's talk about that, because that was a big chunk of the episode, and we learned a lot from that. So before, or this trip is prompted because they find mortgage payments have been going to this one property in Boone, and so Eric and Patrick are going to go see who lives there. So that, Kate was paying these mortgage payments, and we don't know why. We come to find out that it is Kate's mother's house.
Who is not dead.
Who is so not dead.
Right?
Who is definitely not dead.
Yeah, and so that was a little confusing to me. Not confusing, but I feel like the writing was a little confusing because she doesn't know, she doesn't know what Kate's last name is because they're estranged, so they weren't keeping in communication. But then she almost doesn't know who they are, but then she's like, "Oh, I've been expecting you."
Yeah, it was...
she says, "I've been expecting you," but then it's like, "Wait, so you're her husband."
She said that she had been expecting them because she was expecting to be evicted. So she was expecting someone to show up to
somebody
evict
from
her.
the bank. Okay, yeah.
Well,
exactly.
Yeah, and I was confused too until we got into it later how her ex and all of that had been in contact with her and then in contact with Kate. But I was thinking, like, if Kate has this mom who she doesn't even want to tell people about, why is she paying her mortgage, and why doesn't the mom know that it's
Still
Kate
her
that's paying the
mom.
mortgage?
Yeah, it's her mom, and
still her mom.
Kate
Yeah.
technically did. Well,
Kate did her
Kate did her mom wrong. I was going to say,
That
obviously
was-
she was underage, which is 100%, statutory rape. But she, speaking of it outside of those terms, she did it. She knew what she was doing.
She stabbed her mom
According to her mother.
According to her.
According to her mom.
And according to her, though, really, because whenever I'm guessing that story that they do the flashback of that she was telling Amanda is that.
Right,
like,
right,
I
yeah.
didn't, I
married
wanted
man.
it and I wasn't thinking about other people, whatever. And then he even says, I forget his name, the guy, Jake. He even says, she wanted it. Just because he says that doesn't mean that's true, of course.
He did say that when he sat down that the age of consent is 16 and she was 16. Not that makes it that much better, but it makes it like a little bit.
Yeah, I guess it's technically not.
But still, come
illegal,
on. He was 23, she was 16.
In what state is 16
They're in
legal?
North Carolina.
I'm from Alabama, and it's 18 there.
I don't know.
You can get married at
back in the
16
day.
with a parent's consent, though.
Oh.
I do know that.
Roll Tide.
No,
Why?
War Eagle. I graduated from Auburn.
Oh.
Yeah, much better.
No. And so this trip to Boone, so we meet Jake, who is the
baby
father
daddy.
of Kate's child that has been adopted, and they had like a nice kind of like reunion-y little catch-up session.
Yeah.
She shows him a picture of their son, and it just didn't seem like that had been a really terrible split or situation.
It seems like exactly how they said it. Like, oh, this thing happened when it shouldn't have. Clearly she like felt something for Jake whenever she was young, but you're 16, even if it's legal, she still didn't know what she was doing. I mean, let's be real. And it just I'm sure obviously turned into a huge mistake, and that's why she and her mom don't speak or didn't speak for a long time because of that. Which is sad that her mom did choose a guy over her. That's awful. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know how I would react to that situation either. But it seemed like this happened and they just like had to go their separate ways. Not that it was like some big knockdown drag out. I mean, I'm sure it was having to give up the kid because she from the way Kate was saying in their meeting, like she wanted to keep the baby, but she didn't have any money and he wasn't willing to help. So what could she have done?
Yeah. So, and now he has like a whole family and a house and kid, daughters of his own.
Yeah, and it seems like the poor mom like kind of got screwed over by several people and just never got, her life kind of never went up.
Yeah. That's really
from
sad.
that point. Yeah.
But at least Kate helped pay her mortgage.
Yeah.
True.
Exactly.
And then until she died. Well.
Dang it. Yeah, so that's kind of our trip to Boone, is learning that big revelation in Kate's kind of dark past and all of that.
This is what I was thinking to say, and it went out of my mind. So I think that they are showing us this other side to Kate, which they have been every now and then. They'll like throw out a thing about her that's a little less than desirable, because most people's flashbacks are of her being very sweet and very loving and this great person, but they're also letting us know, okay, she is the kind of person that could sleep with her mom's fiance. She is this type of person.
Type of person.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's like she's not all just like perfect and great. So potentially she could have had something to do with something that wasn't. So.
Exactly. And that is even, I mean, Misha said something in the chat, and then with Cornell, when Cornell comes up to Eric and he's trying to get into the iPad, and she's like, oh, forgot your code, sort of thing, and she throws out the property and like the DNA lab, like all this stuff, and is asking why he wanted her mail so badly and all this stuff, and he kind of goes like, yeah, I married somebody that I knew nothing about, sort of thing. And Misha says in the chat, I feel like all these secrets that Eric is finding out about Kate have always been known by his dad. I don't think his father would let any of his kids marry without a full background check.
That's true.
I think that's a very valid point,
because
sure.
They did find that birth certificate pretty darn easily when once she had died and they figured out that she had a baby. So I'm sure that if he did, a semi-in-depth background check, he would have found it.
Did Eric know her real last name, though? Because I feel like when he went to the house, the mom's house, they had miscommunicated the last name.
Because he said Warner, and she said, you mean Martin? And he goes, yes, her maiden name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think her name was real.
Yeah. Great job, Kate.
Yeah.
Unlike her sister.
She seems like a natural brunette. Those are the only two things.
Yeah. And I think we've got just a few things to kind of talk about regarding Cornell before we head into like next week and some predictions. But with Cornell, so we see a lot with Cornell and this new coworker, and he was in the episode, I think, previously, but they set up a little sting with Carly, our call girl, and they don't really get much information out of her. And I did like Cornell's little comment when she's like, Carly's like, your bedside manner sucks, and Cornell's like, depends which bed.
I know.
Whose bed.
I'm like, yeah.
I'm like, I like. She's got a lot of these one-liner, like very dry, very funny moments.
Yeah,
it's good.
I kind of thought that part was a little corny.
Oh, it was. But it was so great.
But it was like corny. It's in a way that like works for her.
Yeah.
Like I like the little moments of humor.
Right.
Because she just like is dying to be funny.
Because she's not so one-dimensional, like stone cold, like serious all the time. She's got this like sarcastic little edge that she still won't crack a smile, but she'll say these little
I feel like there was one point
jokes.
There was one point this episode where she cracked a baby smile, but I was like, oh my god, that's all she's got.
Yeah.
It was like one corner, like
Yeah.
It was only for 2 seconds.
But did y'all think Carly legitimately didn't know Danny's daughter? Because she said she didn't. She said, when I go to a party, I just pay attention to the person that I'm with.
That reminds me, because when she says, do you recognize anyone else in these pictures? And she says,
Kate.
no. I don't think she meant, like, aside from the person you literally have your arm around.
Yeah.
I think it was specifically trying to get at Kate, you know, or Eric, or the other people in the photo.
Yeah.
Because I think it's clear that she knows
Carly.
Rachel.
Oh, yeah.
But that's not the case that we're working on. So that's not what
and she
Cornell's gonna
can't.
ask
She
about.
can't ask that because he's not supposed to be helping her, meaning Danny.
Yeah.
Right.
And
That makes sense.
Carly had such like a sly attitude. She was just like, I know that I can't get in trouble, because when they walked her through that that office, every man not only looked at her, but you could tell that there were
they
some
were like, oh, hey,
familiar
girl.
faces there.
Oh,
You know what
yes,
I mean?
yes,
And
yes.
I think right then and there she knew. She was like, I'm out of
Well,
here.
yeah, and she got released, and
Yeah.
Cornell's like, what the heck just happened? And yeah, because she's got dirt on all those cops in there. Naughty naughty.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Misha says, Misha, I love all these theories and comments. The call girl is a huge red flag. She has things on quite a few people in the department. Yes, of course. She is a key to this case, I think.
But we learned from her too, his alibi is confirmed.
Yes.
In that during the 30 minutes that he left, he was banging her in the car.
Boning.
Which is why he was like tucking in his stuff. We
Yeah.
were talking about that last
Right,
week. So
right.
technically, as of right now anyway, we have confirmation that Neil is not the killer.
Was not up there. Did not push her.
Yeah.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
Unless she's a liar.
Which she probably is,
Yeah.
considering she lies for a living.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
True.
So we'll see.
Another interesting thing we found out about. So the mystery woman, the woman walking up the stairs.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
We didn't really find out anything solid about her
No.
this episode, but they're looking into her, so she for sure will be coming up at some point later.
Yeah.
So
was just-
that,
I just wonder how they're going to tie her in.
right.
Because I feel like we would already know the killer at this point.
But we also have Cornell's, and this isn't related, I don't think, to the killer or the case necessarily, but Cornell's phone goes off with someone named Ethan Barrett calling.
Right.
So we've got now this mystery woman coming up the stairs. Who is Ethan Barrett? Like, two new people in the mix that may not be related to the case in any way, but very interesting.
They don't add people for nothing, though.
Nope. Everything
that's
is
for
intentional,
sure.
and everyone's a suspect.
Yes.
Always.
Except we
love it.
still haven't seen any Eric stuff. But I think he's like he can get mentally bothered in ways, obviously. Not, I don't think
What do
that
you
he
mean,
killed
Eric
her.
stuff? Like,
Like, we still haven't seen any. Okay, I'm going against Eric, really. Even with
Right,
Cornell,
right,
she's
okay.
not necessarily. She's definitely not going against him, but she's not really going against him either.
but Danny makes a good point to him. He goes, if she only looked at you as the grieving husband, she'd be giving you updates on the case.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So she
And I
doesn't
think-
ask her.
Yeah,
sort
I
of
think
thing.
that that's why he asks her straight up when she sees him like playing with the iPad and can't get in.
Yeah.
I noticed that he was like, "You need to give me updates to the case. What are the updates? I deserve to know." And
Yeah.
then she gave him like, I can't remember what she said, but she gave him one little tiny thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't necessarily think that Eric has anything to do with it. I think he was definitely. I think
so.
at this point that he was kept completely in the dark of whatever was
Right.
going
And
on.
I feel like compared to last season, I don't think it should be. Well, it wasn't the husband last time, but he was the main suspect.
Right.
I don't know. I don't feel like it's him at all.
I don't either. No, but I'm just
But then
surprised
it's
that they're
like,
not
oh, well,
throwing
they probably-
anything.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't seen any single, not one piece of evidence or motive that would say that he could.
Right,
But
because last season with Ben, there was so much pointing at him. You know,
like we were like, crap, did he do it?
yeah, like the hammer, like all this stuff. He was hiding shit all the time. Like, yeah, so
And Eric's not
sketchy.
doing that besides
Right.
the iPad, but he's doing that not because he's afraid he has something on there.
Right, he's
Yeah.
trying to find his own. He's
Yeah.
doing like his own investigation,
Yeah.
essentially. Yeah. And I think we can kind of, before we dive into next week's stuff, talk about Amanda for a hot second. So she was smoking some cigarettes outside. So she is just like
She's stressed.
she is stressed, popping pills, smoking cigarettes, like all this stuff. And Cornell comes up to her and wants her outfit from the night of the murder. And she's like, oh, it was dry cleaned. And she's like, how do you know what I'm looking for? Like all this stuff. You're like,
well,
you'd still be pretty pissed it was dry cleaned either way. So that's
exactly.
Well, I mean, she's a lawyer, so of course she knows kind of where she's going with that, you know?
Yeah. So
you can only get like, you know, hair fibers, blood, like that kind of stuff. And that would all be erased pretty much in a dry cleaning. So I thought it was dumb that she's like, how do you know what I'm looking for?
Right.
You're looking for those things.
Yeah.
Of course you are.
Yeah. So we shall see with that. But yeah, I didn't love Amanda. Amanda was kind of a brat, I feel like, in this episode. Just mainly with the interaction with Melanie. And another thing with Amanda, obviously her secret's out about being split up, and the brothers kind of spilled the beans on that stuff. And she says, oh, I just didn't want anyone else knowing yet. But when we found out about that, she made it seem very much like there was a actual reason aside from just being embarrassed or wanting to keep it private, why she couldn't tell.
She couldn't tell
there was some
yet.
strange reason. So I think there's way more to that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I mean, I kind of loved Melanie in this episode because Amanda was so mean to her, and Melanie just gave it right back.
Yeah.
And it was like the ultimate sting. Like,
Exactly.
oh, I forgot you're single now. And she was like,
Right. Yeah, she's affection is good for a marriage.
Yeah.
But oops.
Yeah.
Sorry. But it's true what Patrick said, like ever since she's come into the marriage, as far as we know, everyone has disrespected her. So that almost gives him and her a little more ammunition to do something like, you don't care about us, we don't find them, we won't care what we do.
Well, that's
we'll start a sex ring.
Yeah, there's some sort of
sex ring angle.
There's some sort of disconnect between Patrick and Eric, and not only is it maybe jealousy for the older brother, but you could tell when they were in that diner and Patrick was talking about, don't you ever compare your wife to, or when Eric was like, don't you ever compare your wife to my wife, basically saying that Melanie's trash, my wife's on a pedestal, and your wife's nowhere near.
Yeah.
And you could tell that there was some like resentment based on that alone.
Of course. Totally.
That was so wrong too.
Well, they're being such jerks.
They
I want to know,
are.
why are you being so mean to her? Even if she's just kind of a trashy brat, like just like tone
You don't
it
need to
down
be
a
that
little to her
mean.
face, maybe. I don't know. So I think that's kind of everything from this week's episode. So let's get into next week and some predictions. So next week in the promo teaser, we see that Eric and Melanie have quite a little
So I didn't see the preview
so
for
there
next week.
they exchange some words for sure.
Eric and Melanie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I saw the previews either.
Okay.
I was very sleepy.
They exchange some words, and then there's also quite a bit of a face-off with Cornell. Like, Cornell kind of gets pissed at him too. So it didn't leave us with a whole lot to go with, but I think that we're definitely going to learn more about why everyone hates Melanie so much, aside from just that she's a brat. Because I think Eric even says, like, you're a spoiled brat or something in the teaser. And so hopefully we find out, like, what...
Ooh, that'll be good. Finally, more connection from
what
her.
the background is there, and maybe some flashbacks. Ooh, I would love to see flashbacks.
Me too.
Because she hasn't had a very big part in any of this yet.
Yeah.
No.
So I really want to see her kind of come to life a little.
Exactly. And I think that at some point we're going to meet Charlie, Kate's son.
I think so too.
Because they wouldn't
There's too much lead
she
up,
says his name, we see a picture of him.
But like, what relevance would he had?
Maybe
He's the killer. The
maybe
baby
he
did it.
killed her, obviously.
He's like, don't come after me.
Yeah.
You gave me up.
Yeah.
Push.
Yeah.
It's Charlie. It's always the kid.
I know, it's always, oops. Yeah, that's kind of, I think we're going to see Charlie, I don't know if next week, and Cornell getting mad, they didn't give us a whole lot to work with, so I think just Eric's being more withholding, and maybe it's about the iPad, because she does say to him, like, oh, you wouldn't lie to me, right, about anything.
Right.
You're not keeping anything, and she, like, stares at the iPad because she knows.
right there.
And why wouldn't she just take it right then and there? She can
She can prove it, I guess.
Doesn't know,
But if he can't get into his iPad, it's clearly not his iPad. I guess she can't really...
That's not, like, enough to, I don't think, put a warrant out. He messed up on the passcode. I saw him.
Four times.
Give me the iPad.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm excited. I mean, these episodes always get better and better and juicier, and we, keep unraveling all this stuff. Do we think we're gonna see Jake and Janice, the mom, anymore?
I think that Jake will be back in. I don't know about Janice in the future.
Yeah, I don't know about
I don't
Janice.
know
about
about
her.
think Janice.
But I think that there's so much background and history with Kate and Jake, and now the son.
Yeah.
And if the son son slips in there, I think that Jake's gonna be slipping in there too.
Yeah, because Jake did say that he didn't want to have anything to do with the son.
Yeah.
So it still kind of ties him into some relevance.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. It'll be exciting. Episode 6, so we're just about getting to halfway through. It's
crazy.
How many are there this season? 12, 13?
Oh,
Something
I
like
don't
that.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
something like that. Exactly. I
One of
don't
those.
remember off the top of my head
Yeah.
right now, but about that much. Yeah.
Yes.
So, all right, guys, this was exciting. And next week's, I forget what next week's is called. I knew what it was, but now I don't remember. Oh, we also didn't see John, Dad, this
I
episode
know,
at all.
which makes
so
me
I
think
am
that he's up to some
curious.
sketchy stuff.
Yes, I'm
Was
very
he-
curious.
Yeah. He was away on business.
That's what it was
Yes.
last week, too.
I know.
Very curious
He's
about
taking
that.
care of some loose ends.
Yeah.
Anyhow, y'all, I think we are just about done.
Yeah.
And thank you guys all for tuning in. Misha, Fantasy Stats Guru, Zumiko, and everyone else who is in there. We love chatting with you and tossing around all these theories because there are always so freaking
Oh, yeah.
many, you
So
guys.
many.
Yeah.
So, also hope you guys have a great Halloween and have an awesome Halloween
Yes.
weekend
Happy
and Halloween
Halloween.
night. Eat some candy. You guys can find us here next week, same place, same time. Be sure you're subscribed, youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. You can find me everywhere online at Lauren Salaun, especially Instagram and Snapchat. And how about you, gals?
You can find me on Instagram at GetItWit, and then you can find me on Twitter at WitGetItWit.
And y'all can find me everywhere at April Whisenhant.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.